Gather around, and welcome back to another episode of the Professional Nomad Podcast. Once again, I am your humble host, Stefano. Thank you if you are able to attend this live stream as always. I really appreciate all the love and support that the channel has been getting over the past couple of months. I want to make sure that I always show my appreciation for that and say thank you to everyone that tunes in. I also want to make sure I say thank you and show appreciation to all of my moderators that come through and help me, that support the channel. Thank you. Without you guys, nothing is possible. So, extra shout out to you guys. You're the real MVPs, right? Right. We got a good one today, guys. We got a good one today because if you have not heard, the New York conviction for Harvey Weinstein, however you want to say his name, has been overturned. So, we want to know why and what happened. This man was the sole reason why the Me Too movement was created. And he had a lot of people come forward and testify to say he did a lot of things to them. Women, that is, right? So I want to know your comments on this. Leave a comment below. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. But leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this. Is this the end of the Me Too movement? What does this mean? What is going to happen now that his conviction has been overturned? What will become of this? We don't know. But we're going to find out what happened, right? We want to know what happened. We're going to find out right now what happened because I got some clips I'm going to pull up. We're going to look at them and we're going to review them talking about why his conviction was overturned in New York, only in New York. But we also want to know, is this a waterfall effect? This is a domino effect, okay? We want to know, okay, since this conviction was overturned in New York, what about the conviction in California? Is he going to get that one overturned too? What's going to happen? Is he going to go free? What does any of this actually mean for any of the so-called victims that testified against this man? We're going to get into it. We're not going to delay it another minute. But before we do, we're going to check and see who we got in here. And as always, la hermosa, la quequina, gracias, mi amor. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Hey, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Now, we're pushing to 300 subscribers. We're trying to get to 300. So if you're watching this on a live video right now, hit that button. Hit that notification bell so you can be alerted when we go live, right? Like I keep mentioning, once we are monetized, the Nomad Worldwide WhatsApp group will be available to the members who will be basically subscribing to memberships to this channel, if you so choose to be. Okay? If you so choose to be. That's only if you choose to be. But the Nomad Worldwide WhatsApp group is a real thing. It's a real place for negotiating, networking, collaborations, future collaborations worldwide. So it's for a place for people with nomadic mindsets, just like this channel, a place for people with nomadic mindsets to link up, discuss ideas, and not have to worry about anybody judging them or trying to scam them, right? Because the group is free. The group is absolutely free. But if you subscribe to a membership to this channel, you can automatically be entered into the Nomad Worldwide WhatsApp group, right? But like everything else, it comes with rules, and the rules will be inside the group. The first thing you're going to see pinned to the top is the rules. No spamming, things of that nature, right? Enough of that. We'll talk about that later. We're going to get right into this because we want to know what happened. What happened to get Mr. Weinstein's conviction overturned? So I got a clip pulled up. I'm going to share it right now. We're going to talk about it because I was in awe. I was like, wow. Also, there's a poll in the chat. Gracias, like Akina. For those of you that are here right now, there's a poll in the chat, right? There's a poll in the chat. I want you to answer yes or no. Do you think this is the end of the Me Too movement? All you got to do is take it. It's right in there right now. As soon as you go in there, you should be able to see it. Just take that poll for me. Let me know your thoughts. Also, like I said before, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about his conviction being overturned. Here we go. Jermaine, what's popping? What's going on, brother? How you doing? Glad to see you could join in, man. You been watching that draft? How your Chiefs doing the draft, man? 49ers, we done picked up a whole new receiver, running back, everything. 2 receivers, matter of fact. Got that receiver from Arizona. Got another receiver. I forgot where he's from. It's all good. Here we go, guys.
We are following breaking news for you this hour. We want to take you to New York now, where the state's highest court has overturned the rape conviction of movie producer Harvey Weinstein. The New York Court of Appeals finding the trial judge prejudiced Weinstein with improper rulings, including a decision to let women testify about allegations that were not part of the case. Weinstein was a well-known, powerful man, as you know, within the entertainment industry.
Bam. So there we go. That's part of the reason why the case was overturned. The judge allowed people who were not a part of the case to testify. So no matter if Mr. Weinstein would have been able to testify on his behalf or not, he would not have been able to defend himself. So what does that mean? He was guilty no matter what happened. So he just looked like a bad character. Now, I'm not defending the man or anything like that. But what I'm saying is he has a legal right to be defended while he's in court. We can't just crucify him and say, oh, he's a bad guy, he deserves to go to jail. He can be a bad guy, but legally, according to the law, he deserves a fair trial, and his trial was unfair. His trial was unfair because his judge in the case allowed way too many people to testify, people that weren't even on the witness list, right? Also, the DA fumbled the ball because the DA was part of it too. So blame them. Man, yeah. Y'all lost, what's his name? Y'all ain't gonna be back. Yeah, very humiliating for the man. But what does this mean? What does this mean for the Me Too movement? Does this mean that people are going to suffer, or people are going to be in fear because of this conviction being overturned? What do you think? Leave me a comment below so you'll know. So I'll know your opinions on this. Also, take the poll. It's a poll in the chat. Jermon, it's a poll in the chat, man. Take the poll for me. It's a yes or no. Do you think this is the end of the Me Too movement? One of the things about the trial is that a lot of women testified. A lot. So if you're not familiar with what happened, he's accused of assault, and rape, right? So supposedly and allegedly, the man had a buzzer on his desk, and if a female actress went in to talk to him about a movie, he had to buzz them in. You didn't know this, but as you went into that office, you couldn't get out unless he hit that buzzer. Let that sink in for a minute. So while you was in the office, you was pressured to do some things that you didn't really want to do. He literally had a buzzer. The same thing went with your guy from NBC, Matt Bauer. I think that's his name. He did the same thing. He had a button too. You went in that office, you couldn't get out. He had to buzz you out. And while you was in there, you were subjected to things that you didn't want to be subjected to. So this is some of the things that they testified on. Oh, look, my God. I want to say thank you, brother. You've been a great moderator, man. I'm glad to see you back and around. Peace to you too, brother. I don't think the Me Too movement will end. It's too many woke and liberal people in the world to get it to go. You know, women will be protected even if they lie. And you do know that is a true thing, right? Because they are pushing that agenda. Hey guys, while we're here, make sure y'all put some respect on my moderator name. Go check out Machismo TV.
Welcome to Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much, with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything, with nothing.
And I do mean with nothing, because they can do it all over there. So make sure you go over there and check them out. Go check out the Quiet Storm. Go check out Salted Balls. Go check out Machismo TV, Hot Sauce, The Contractor. Check all of them out. Send them a salute. Make sure you tell them the professional nomad sent you. All right? Yes, sir. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Okay. Yes. One possibility, folks may be able to sue their accuser for false accusation. Yeah, I think that's true too. But the kicker is, I don't. So he's got 2 convictions, guys. He's got 2. He's got one in New York and he's got one in California. Now, this one guarantees he's going to get a new trial because you know they're going to re-prosecute him. That's a definite. My thing is, what about the one in California? Because he's got time to serve on that one. So I guess they were running concurrent. I don't know if y'all ever been in trouble with the law. I have, so I kind of know about these things. And one took precedent over the other, but now that the other one was overturned, now he has to go serve time for the other. So he's not a free man as of yet, right? He's not a free man yet. But if he appealed the New York conviction, don't you think he's going to appeal the California conviction? Common sense tells you yes. Let's get back to the video, though.
And prosecutors say that he abused his power to take advantage of a number of aspiring female actors, like to coerce them into unwanted sexual encounters. Weinstein was arrested in 2018 and charged with rape and criminal sexual assault. He was found guilty in 2020 of both those felonies. Prosecutors say the testimony of those women, other than those whose claims form the basis of the criminal charges, spoke to Weinstein's state of mind to use forcible compulsion. Spokesperson for Weinstein saying they are happily surprised and studying the ruling that Weinstein is also convicted of sex crimes in Los Angeles and sentenced to 16 years in prison there. Because he's already convicted in California, he will not be released, but instead transferred to the custody of prison authorities in California. There's a lot to discuss here. Let's bring in our contributor and former NYPD Chief of Detectives, Bob Boyce, also our legal.
Now, like I just said, guys, he ain't going free now. He's not going free just yet. Boom. Check out the contractor, man. The contractor goes hard over there. I like the contractor, man. I watch his content all the time. I pop up over there and tell him salute. He goes hard on the ABW. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the contractor, man. Make sure you subscribe to my guy Salty Balls. Salty Balls, he's another type of guy that you want to listen to. You want to pay attention to his content because he's very, very intelligent. Don't let the name fool you. The name will throw you off, okay? The name will throw you off, but you think he's a joke. No, this guy's intelligent. He's immaculate. And if you go over there, make sure you go over there with some respect, or he's going to call you out because his vernacular is impeccable, right? He knows what he's talking about. I'd love to do another collab with him soon. I'm going to see if I can do that, right? Make sure you reach out and tell him the professional nomad sent you. Go over there and subscribe to Saul. Check out his channel. Yes, sir. Go ahead and subscribe to Machismo TV, guys. Machismo TV. Hey, late night. I know a lot of you. I'm one. And now I'm not an innocent person. I watch Dateline. I watch ID Channel. I watch all these things, right? But now I'm a content creator. So instead of me staying up all night watching ID Channel and falling asleep to ID Channel, I pop on YouTube. And even if I ain't in the comment section, I'm watching Machismo TV. It's a men-centric platform. So understand this before you go over there. And there's no disrespect to any ladies either, but it's a men-centric platform. So this is a place for men, just like this is a men-centric platform, okay? Now, when you go there, remember, make sure you go over there and you hit that sub button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you be respectful because these are a bunch of brothers that are over there trying to do something positive for our community. So make sure you go check out Machismo TV. Late night and every Sunday, they're live. I want to say between 8 o'clock or 8, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. They're live. So they have a panel. You can jump in the comment section, get to ask them questions, donate to the cause, man. Send them a super chat. I'm about to buy merch. I'm about to buy a t-shirt. I'm supposed to be taking a trip to Colombia for my birthday here coming up soon next week. So you might see me in Colombia with my Machismo TV merch on while I'm there, if I can get it in time. So check them out. All right. Make sure you tell them the professional nomad sent you. Yeah, he's not getting out no time soon, though, guys. He's not getting out. So he still got 16 years to do, but I guarantee you he's appealing that conviction too. So that's what money do, because the average person like me and you, we wouldn't be able to fight that. So he was sentenced in 2022. It's 2024. It's almost mid 2024. So his lawyer's been working on an appeal for a long time. So if you don't think that they're not working on another appeal for the California case, you're sadly mistaken. So we need to pay close attention to this to see what happened and to see what's going to happen. And we also want to know if by him overturning convictions, will they allow the Me Too movement to be disbanded, because this will crush a lot of people. Do you think, and I want to know if you guys, I want to know how you feel about this. I want to know what you think about this. Do you think that the original women who testified the first time in the first trial, do you think they're going to come back and testify again? That's something to think about. Leave a comment below. Make sure you subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button. But let me know in the comments below. Do you think that they're going to come back and testify again? Right? Ashley Judd, the famous Kentucky Wildcat fan, Ashley Judd, she was one of the main people complaining about Weinstein. And she's crushed right now. Right? If this were you and you went through this horrible thing and you got up in court and you testified, and then only to find out years later that the man was able to get the conviction overturned, would you go back and testify? Just be real about it. What would you do? Would you be scared? Would you think that he's so rich that he can get away with anything like most people? What would you do? Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Let's get back to the video.
Legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer. Bob, first to you. I mean, you were the lead investigator on this case against Weinstein there in New York. What is your reaction to this decision?
It's discussed mostly. We put a lot of work into this thing, and when you look at it, this was a strategy that's got this overturned, not the witnesses. They found them credible and did a great job in heroic stand on testifying against Mr. Weinstein. So it's a difficult time for them to do it. They're going to have to do it again, and it's not fair to them to go through all that, testimony in that public glare. But that's what's going to happen. So everybody's very upset in New York right now about this.
Brian, what do you think? I mean, what played into this appeals court decision, you think?
So looking at the decision and also being one of the attorneys who sat and watched this trial, it was the fact that too many what we call Molyneux witnesses or uncharged bad act witnesses, meaning that they were alleged victims in a case, but none of their testimony was attributed to a charge. They were able to testify at length, and the court saw that the judge in the trial made an erroneous decision allowing that. And the issue is that he might have been convicted because of the propensity information, not necessarily the allegations that came out.
So, again, what happened? Why was the conviction overturned? Because the judge allowed people who weren't even part of the case to testify. I'd be so pissed. I'd be so pissed. Could Weinstein's legal team make an argument of double jeopardy? No, they can't. Because the only thing that, okay, so what happened, Jermon, is that the conviction it was overturned. It didn't say he was innocent. So basically what happened was they said his trial was unfair due to the judge allowing all of these witnesses to testify against the man. The man would have never had a fair chance to defend himself, even if he got on the stand and said something. This is why he didn't even get on the stand to say nothing. He couldn't. He was obliterated in the public opinion. He was obliterated in the court. He couldn't say anything to defend himself before he even got, I mean, he had no chance. It was a lose-lose situation for him. And when you go to court, it's supposed to be fair on both. Well, we know it's not, but it's supposed to be fair on both sides, right? And if you got the money to fight things like this, you can get away with it. Here's the thing. Now, only thing this did was grant him a new trial. This does not mean he's going to be found innocent either. It just means he gets a new trial. And as you heard the lead investigator say, all of those witnesses, they're going to have to testify again. The thing is, will they? This is what I want to know. Will they do that? And I want you guys to let me know in the comment section. Do you think that these women are going to testify again? After they put it all on the line to testify in the first place, do you think they're going to do this again? Because now all of the other people who testified that were extra that made him just such a bad act, they can't testify this time. So it's only going to be the women who are actually part of the case, the women that the charges were filed for, not them and their mama and them. Does that make sense? It's just 2 or 3 women or something like that, Jeremiah. So no. So he's got to go right back to trial. So he's got a 50-50 chance. And now the defense, part of the defense strategy is going to say, well, if he was so-called doing these dastardly deeds to these women, why did they continue to sleep with him? He was convicted just because they said he did it. They didn't have proof. No evidence was shown. Only evidence was the women testifying saying, yeah, he did this to me. There were no R kits, you know what I'm saying? Like on SVU, the kit they take in the hospital. There were none of that stuff, no police reports, none of that stuff was filed. And I know it sounds jacked up, but legally you need evidence to convict somebody of something as heinous as this, not just somebody's word, right? And the only thing they have is these women saying, he did this to me. So it's their word against his, if that makes sense. So I want to say he's got a 50-50 chance. He's got more than a 50-50 chance when you think about it, right? Yeah, it's wild. Let's get back to the video. And we're going to listen to what his lawyers got to say after this. Because they got a whole mouthful of stuff they're going to say it's gonna wow you about the case. But let's get back to this one.
And so, to Bob's point, yeah, the investigation was great. The witnesses were strong, but the strategy in which the prosecutors went about this, and also the fact that Weinstein might not have been able to testify because of the evidence against him, the court said that it has to be reversed.
So, Bob, the Manhattan DA's office could decide to retry him. What's the likelihood that could happen given today's decision by the appeals court? And do you think
they've already said they're going to retry him? He's going back to court.
I think it's a good idea.
They're probably going. Well, they transferred him to California, so he's been moved to a California penitentiary.
Oh, Kira, I believe he has to. This was a foundational case to the Me Too movement, and it started everything. sort of the domino things of people in power abusing women. So I can't see how he doesn't do it. And I think he's already committed to it already. However, that's going to take a while. Bear in mind that Mr. Weinstein is wanted to do 16 years out in California, so he's not getting out of jail. But these things can't go. We can't let these things go past. He has to be retried.
Brian, if you were on the case, and if we do see a retrial, and that was you.
Now, let's hear this guy at the top. He's the lead investigator. The guy at the bottom, he's a defense attorney. I want you to listen to what he said his defense strategy would be going into court now that this conviction has been overturned.
Having to make an argument in court this time around for Weinstein. I mean, what happens? What does he say?
Well, I think the argument is that the number of uncharged witnesses or uncharged alleged victims that testified was too high. So now from a defense standpoint, it's a reevaluation of the case. To Bob's point, the victims, and we'll call them victims, even though the case was overturned, and because they were found to be victims by the jury, they were believed. And so the question becomes is, will their testimony lack any kind of strength because they won't have 4 other women that are also going to testify in a similar way? Or will you have a potential defense here because there may be fewer alleged victims testifying? It looks a little bit better for the defense here, but the only question is how much better?
All right, Bob, Brian, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right. Now we're going to take a quick glance and we're going to hear what his attorneys have said on the matter. All right. So let me pull up this video. Make sure I pull up the right video this time. All right. Let me reshare my screen. Boom.
Throughout the course of her career, stepped up and said no.
Started over. All right.
This is breaking news.
Doug Williams here in the CBS 2 newsroom. We interrupt your current programming for breaking news. New York's highest court has overturned Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction. Now his legal team is reacting to the decision in Lower Manhattan. Let's take a listen.
And at the time of those rulings, from the days I interned with John Esposito in 1980 and when my father worked here in the 60s and 70s, what we knew then was the first words that came out of my mouth to the Court of Appeals, which was from the bottom of our hearts, from our collective hundreds of years of experience, we knew that Harvey Weinstein did not get a fair trial. And there's a quote from Judith Kaye, who was one of the great leaders of this state. She was the chief of the Court of Appeals of the state of New York. And the essence of it was, there are some people who are very unpopular in our society, but we still have to apply the law fairly to them. And in this courthouse behind us at that trial, the law was not applied fairly to Harvey Weinstein. And what the Court of Appeals, the highest court in the greatest state, in the greatest country, said today is that, yes, no one is above the law, but no one is below the law either. And the case in which it relies upon is called the Molyneux case. It's over 100 years old. And what the Court of Appeals said, you can't throw out 100 years of legal precedent because some...
Man, he No, I ain't gonna lie. Before he went to court, this man was not on the walker. This man went to court. This man was all of a sudden crippled. I remember when I noticed a lot of people that go to court and they put on a show. I remember when Michael Jackson went to court, he had on his pajamas. You know, it's wild. This man showed up to court with a walker, walking very fast. I've never seen anybody that's needing a walker walk as fast as this guy. Let me take it back a little bit. Hold on.
But no one is below the law either. And the case in which it relies upon is called the Molyneux case. It's over 100 years old. And what the Court of Appeals said, you can't throw out 100 years
How fast he walked.
of legal precedent because someone is unpopular. We compliment the Court of Appeals for having the strength and the courage to do so. We compliment the former Chief Judge of the Court of Appeals, Chief Judge Janet DiFiore, because she's the one who gave us access to the Court of Appeals. It is not often, it is not automatic that a criminal defendant gets access to the Court of Appeals. And Chief Judge DiFiore, who's been a fighter for women's rights throughout the course of her career, stepped up and said, no, there's a problem here that my colleagues on the bench have to examine. And they did examine it. And Judge Jenny Rivera, who has spent her entire career in the law as a professor, as a judge, fighting for women's rights as hard as she possibly can, wrote this decision. And it may sound like it's an exaggeration, but it's not. Today's legal ruling is a great day for America because it instills in us the faith that there is a justice system, even though there's 100 cameras around, that a judge will sit in her chambers and look at the law and look at the precedent without fear of favor and say, I don't care who the defendant is. If it's a former president of the United States or the most storied Hollywood producer of our generation, the law applies to everyone.
Oh. Stop it right there. Said a mouthful right there. The law applies to everyone. Everyone. And that means everyone. No one is above nor below the law. So, as I was just mentioning, you cannot just convict somebody just because you think they did something wrong. You actually have to have proof. And that's why I think he's going to appeal these new. Well, no, they're not new. I think he's going to appeal the case in LA as well, if he's not already doing it. Guys, please follow me on Twitter. Please follow me on Twitter. We're live right now on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. But we're also on just about all social media platforms. You can see the banner below. Please make sure you go over there and follow us and hit that like button. We're on those platforms as well. All right. Gracias la quina. Yeah, that's why I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to appeal the California decision, the Los Angeles decision as well, because this small victory. Because if it was done in one case, why wasn't it done in another? If there were mistakes made in one case, why weren't there mistakes made in another case? You have to ask yourself this. And we just have to wait and see, to be honest with you. And this is going to be tough for a lot of women out here, because a lot of women jumped on the movement. They jumped on the bandwagon and started supporting this movement. And like the guy said, a lot of powerful people, they got in trouble because once Weinstein was convicted, it gave a lot of other women the courage and confidence to come forward and speak about what had been happening to them as well. And a lot of more powerful people fell behind this. The so-called Me Too movement is taking down a lot of people. Now, if he's able to get all these convictions overturned, will this be the end of it? Will it all be for nothing? That's the point. My opinion really doesn't matter in the case, because I don't think they can afford to let the man go. But it's not about what I think. It's about what the law says. And the law in New York says he gets a new trial. So he's about to get a new trial. So what's going to happen next is all up for grabs right now. Let's go back in here. Let's go back in here as attorneys again. We're going to hope and pray for the best.
That there is a justice system, even though there's 100 cameras around, that a judge will sit in her chambers and look at the law and look at the precedent without fear of favor and say, I don't care who the defendant is. If it's a former president of the United States or the most storied Hollywood producer of our generation, the law applies to everyone. There was a over 100-year precedent that was thrown out by the intermediary court of appellate court that said the Molyneux ruling, which is allowing people who a defendant is not charged with to come into court and testify. They said it was okay in the Harvey Weinstein case. But today, Judge Jenny Rivera, a real hero for women on this planet, said you can't convict someone based on their entire life and everything that they've done in their life. You can't allow more witnesses to come in and testify against the defendant than the defendant is actually charged with. You can't do that. What Judge Rivera wrote, over a century later, we reaffirm that no person accused of illegality may be judged on proof of uncharged crimes that serve only to establish the accused's propensity for criminal behavior. So the Court of Appeals deserves a tremendous amount of credit for doing this based on the law, not based on opinion polls, not based on popularity contests. And let me tell you something about Harvey Weinstein. From the moment I met him at his office in Midtown, he profoundly declared his innocence. He said, if you're going to represent me, you need to know I didn't rape anyone. I didn't sexually assault any of these women who I am charged with. He said the same thing to me today. He's also said the same thing to me when the verdict was read and I sat next to him and he said, Arthur, how could this happen? I'm innocent. I'm innocent. Because of this ruling, Harvey Weinstein will now be produced from where he is in upstate New York back down here to this courthouse. Obviously, there will be a new judge. There will be a new prosecutor because the former prosecutor has retired. And to her credit, Jonah Luzzi, in a very classy move for a lawyer, called and acknowledged the decision today and was very classy about that. She deserves recognition for that because that's how the justice system should work. So Harvey will be here. We will be announcing ready for trial on the first day we walk into that courtroom, because we are. And Harvey will, under this new ruling, be able to take the stand, will be able to tell his side of the story, and be very consistent with what he said all along, which is, yes, there was the sexual encounter between me and Mimi Haley, but I never forced her to do anything. In fact, 7 days after the alleged assault, we had consensual sex, which she testified to in this courthouse.
Boom. And there's the problem right there, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Now, I don't think someone who, I'm not there. None of us are there. So we can't say whether she did or did not have consensual sex with this man. Right? But she said he took advantage of her. I don't know too many people, too many women, right, that will allow a dude, will allow a guy to take advantage of her in that way, be able to walk away from the encounter and then go back for seconds. Usually when a person goes through an experience like that, they're traumatized. They don't continue to, go back. And that's going to be their defense. You see them talking about it right here. That's going to be their main thing right here, is saying that she consensually participated in these acts that she's claiming didn't happen. I mean, that happened. Now, will they believe him? Who knows? We're going to find out. You let me know. Let me know what your opinion is, though. Like I'm saying, leave a comment below. Let me know your opinion on this. Let me know if you think that the witnesses will still have credibility after this conviction has been overturned. Do you think they're going to retestify again after this has happened? Because there is some feeling of shame, I guarantee you. So you let me know what you think. Leave a comment. If you're watching this on the replay, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What's going to happen, right? All right. And does this give leeway? Does this give direction for them to now try to fight the conviction in Los Angeles? I'm telling you, we just need to watch it. I think he's going to do it. But, don't listen to me. I'm not an expert in this. Let's finish hearing out what he's got to say.
So today is not just about Harvey Weinstein. Far from it. We've gotten calls from so many defense attorneys, from the greatest in terms of defense attorneys, of Ron Kuby to retired judges, saying you did a great thing for America. We did it. Diana wrote the brief with Judge Kamens. We tried the case together. I argued it. It was a group effort. Craig Rothfeld, who's been here, he's the prison consultant taking care of Harvey throughout. It's been an absolute team effort. But this was so much more than Harvey Weinstein for us and for the justice system. And we are relieved. Everyone's like, are you happy? Of course, we worked very, very hard. But we're relieved that our system of justice wasn't perverted. This was a case about perversion Well, in that courthouse at trial, the laws were perverted because there was so much pressure, because Harvey was the face of this movement, that he had to be convicted under any circumstances, even if you have to throw the rule book out the window. And luckily, the judges of the Court of Appeals of the state of New York, our highest court, said no. That perversion in the state of New York, in our criminal courts, in our justice system, will not stand. I'll take some questions.
Jack Walker from the New York Post. 2 questions. First of all, how did Harvey react to the news? Did you tell him, and if so, what was his response to news? And secondly, what will be the logistics in terms of him moving prisons, given that he still has the California conviction over his head?
I never anticipated those questions, so I really don't know the answers.
Did you talk to him? Did you?
Yeah. So here's we're not in a rush. We don't come back from lunch for 15 minutes. Judge Kamens today is lecturing at the Brooklyn Bar Association. They're also having a suit drive for people who need some clothing. So I was actually in my closet picking out a couple of suits to give to charity when my wife called me, and I mistakenly didn't take her call. And then Judge Kamens called me, and we did not expect the decision to come out today. So we were in shock that the decision, first of all, came out, and then relieved by what the decision was. But we didn't hear, it's not like I can pick up the phone and call Harvey in prison until about, I think it was a little bit after 10 o'clock a.m. when I got the call, and it was Harvey. And, he just heaped praise on me and our whole team. And he said thank you more times than I could count. And I'll talk to you about how he found out in a moment. But I do want to say this about Harvey. After the oral arguments in the Court of Appeals, he called me. It was like a week later, maybe, because he wasn't able to see it right away. But eventually, he saw the oral argument. And he called me, and he said something that any lawyer would want to hear. He said, Arthur, no matter what the outcome is, I know that you and your team did everything you possibly could to try to save me. And no matter what the outcome is, I will never blame you. And as a lawyer who has someone's life in their hands, you can't ask for more than that. So I appreciate him saying those things. Apparently what happened was he was in the facility today. Someone just walked over to him and handed him a piece of paper. I believe it was from the Associated Press. And he said it was like 2 sentences. It just said, Harvey Weinstein appeal reversed, conviction reversed. And obviously he has some friends in there now. He's like, Arthur, I've been here 4 years in prison for something I didn't do. You got to fix this. I said, Harvey, we're going to walk in there. John Esposito has been my supervisor since 1990. He said, we're going to go in there. And the first they say, Your Honor, we're ready for trial. Just, let's pick a trial date. We're ready to go.
Was he emotional? How was he?
He wasn't emotional, like crying. Craig was crying. Craig was crying. Diana was very, very focused on making her cappuccino. I was a little more. I was in a little bit. I just was not expecting. We got some misinformation that there were no more decisions from the Court of Appeals coming down. So we were not prepared. But Harvey was very gracious, very grateful. He called me actually 3 times. Look, he's in a horrible place, in a horrible situation, but the human spirit is strong. And so he has done the best he can with his help and the help of Craig Rothfeld to make the best out of a horrible situation. But it is chilling when a human being who is in his early 70s now says, Arthur, I've been in jail for 4 years for something I didn't do. And what was done improperly. And that's a really, think about where we all were 4 years ago. We were in lockdown and COVID. Think about how much life has passed, and he's missed all of that, and he's got little kids.
Arthur, Chloe Malott from NBC News. Just curious, explain to us, does he now get extradited to California, begin serving that 16-year sentence there? Talk to us about what happens next. What happens
next is that actual judgment from the court will be sent up to the courthouse. To the prison and to the courthouse. His case now will be redocketed like it just started from the beginning. And he will be transported down here to a facility down here yet to be determined. And we will go, it's like his case begins brand new, like those days, I guess 5 years ago, almost 6, when he was initially arrested and brought in, and we start from scratch.
So it's 100% that this will go to trial again?
Well, that is in the attorney's discretion. If they want to dismiss the case, I'm not going to object to that. But the case starts from the beginning. Hi.
Does Harvey Weinstein have any remorse or any regret?
Well, he spoke at his sentencing quite eloquently about the remorse and regret that he has, that he put these women through that situation, and he looked at them right in the eyes in that courtroom. But Harvey Weinstein has been very, very consistent. Mimi Halle and I fooled around on, I forget what day of the week it was. She called me in the morning. This is her testimony. She called me in the morning, said, my friend's having a baby in California. Can you fly me out? He flew her out. She came back less than 10 days later. They went to dinner and they made love. And then years later, she said, well, the time we made love, that was consensual. But the 10 days before that, that wasn't consensual. And Harvey Weinstein says, no, it was consensual. And he wants to come back into the courtroom and have...
Wow. That was a bombshell. That was a bombshell right there. So this is why he's in jail. This is why he's in jail. This lady said, wow. I can't believe what I just heard. Okay. So, and I'm guessing that this is a young actress. Wow. So, the actress, wow. The actress wanted him to fly her out. Her friend's having a baby. This is after they had an encounter, an S encounter, a hookup. Let's say a hookup. So after they had a hookup, all right. Now, remember, she's accusing him of taking advantage of her. She's accusing him of taking advantage of her. So, hypothetically speaking, he took advantage of her. He raped her. Okay. 10 days later, she picks up the phone. Hey, Harvey. My girlfriend's pregnant and she's about to have her baby. Can you fly me to California? What? In what world does this make any sense to anybody ever? Ever. Have you ever heard of a woman who's been taken advantage of doing something like that? They don't want to be around the man, let alone ask for a favor. Then they have relations again. So now she claims the first time he took advantage of her, he took it. The second time was consensual. The story, the math ain't mathing right now. This there's not a lot of logic going on to this right now, and I'm not following this. All right. Whoa. Let's get back. Let's finish this.
This team and whatever lawyers Mr. Weinstein wants to bring on, cross-examine her, fight her case. He wants to take the stand and say, look, yes, it happened. We never said it didn't happen. but I didn't sexually assault anybody.
And we welcome you back inside our newsroom. You've been listening to the attorney for Harvey Weinstein speaking about the New York Appeals Court's decision to overturn Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction. Weinstein's attorney calls this a great day for America due to what it says about the justice system. Advocates and some of Weinstein's accusers also speaking out today, including actress Ashley Judd and Tarana Burke, the founder of the Me Too movement. CBS 2's Dave Carlin was there to hear their reaction and joins us now from outside Manhattan Criminal Court. Dave.
Doug, this was the case that strengthened the Me Too movement and also caused a ripple effect that affected the entire entertainment industry. And in this hotel behind me, we had activists and we had survivors of sexual violence meeting and talking about this overturned conviction. We have some video of the people inside. Some of them you will definitely recognize. They said no matter what, they will continue to live in their truth and tell their stories as a way of motivating other women and also letting them know that they are not alone. So let's begin by showing you the actress Ashley Judd and what she had to say, followed by Tarana Burke, founder of the Me Too movement.
4 judges at New York's court have voted to overturn Harvey Weinstein's sexual crimes conviction. This is what it's like to be a woman in America, living with male entitlement to our bodies. Now, for those of you who don't know, when I was an up-and-coming actor in Hollywood in the 1990s, I'd been up all night filming on the movie Kiss the Girls, and I had a breakfast appointment with Harvey Weinstein and up to his room, where Harvey, wearing his hotel robe, immediately began asking if he could give me a massage, and this progressed into him insisting that I watch him take a shower, and other acts of sexual harassment and aggression. When survivors tell their stories, they are exercising a powerful form of leadership that sparks others to join in shared action that catalyzes change. This today is an act of institutional betrayal. And our institutions betray survivors of male sexual violence.
Get in the trenches and we do our work. And we will continue to do that. This is not a blow to the movement. It is a clarion call. And we are prepared to answer that call.
Burke and Judd saying this does not slow down the movement. Now, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office will retry. Weinstein had indicated that it felt that it would have to make sure that the folks who testified before are willing to come back. But if this news conference we listened to is any indication, they will return and they will testify again. Weinstein right now still in that California prison at the age of 72. Doug?
Dave, I was struck by the same thing. You were the difference in rhetoric between the survivors and accusers, the creator of the Me Too movement that you've been hearing from today, and the attorney for Harvey Weinstein, as I mentioned earlier, saying this is a great day for America based purely on, in his opinion, what it says about the justice system. Were you struck by the similar sort of disagreement in tone there from what you've heard and what you just heard minutes ago in that press conference?
Absolutely. They are not on the same page at all over this. Ashley Judd saying that this is an affront to survivors and victims who often have a hard time coming forward in the first place, worried they will not be believed. They say the movement continues, but they are very disappointed in this overturning.
All right, Dave, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your insight this afternoon. Let's bring in another guest to help us break this down. Joining us now is David.
Oh. Stop it right there. This is wild. Now, the women are very upset about this, and they should be. I'm not going to sit here and just because I'm a man say they shouldn't feel a certain kind of way about this, because they should. They very well should, because now they feel like no one's going to have their back. No one's going to be able to defend them, and they can't just speak up and say what they need to say in their own defense to, get justice for things that have happened to them. It's already lots of women that don't come forward right now when things like this happen. But let me know what you think about this. I'm going to do some editing to this video, so stick around to the end if you can. Wow, it's just, this is only the beginning. This is the new beginning of the new case, and you heard the leader of the Me Too movement say this is not the end, but who knows where this is going to take us, guys, and we're just going to have to stick around and find out. All right. As always, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you keep telling your friends about this place. Make sure you tell them to come check us out over here. This is the place for everybody. All right. We're about to end the live stream. I appreciate everybody who was able to come through and leave a comment. Salute to Quiet Storm, Jermon, Lakikina, as always. Thank you guys. Salute. I'm out.